Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inspired Messenger Show. I am your host, Mark Porteous. This series is designed to inspire, educate, and motivate you to recognize and share your own unique gifts with the world. And I'm blessed to work with amazing mentors and teachers who are also aligned with my mission to empower inspired messengers with the tools and support they need to thrive in their purpose of transforming lives. I fully believe that we all have a message that can benefit others. And some are inspired to share their message professionally as authors, speakers, mentors, coaches, and healers, while others share their message in their personal lives as parents, volunteers, role models, community leaders, and many different other ways. And my guides and mentors have taught me that the best way to make a difference in the world is to raise my own vibration and consciousness. I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, be the change that you want to see in the world. Well, that's exactly what my guest today helps people to achieve by being the fullest expression of themselves. Katye Anna is a teacher of soul, a transformational author, speaker, and workshop facilitator. She is the author of 4 books: Conscious Construction of the Soul, Soul Love Never Ends, Into the Light, and her newest book, which was just released yesterday, Birthing into Spirit. Katye Anna fully embodies the life of a modern-day mystic and uses her connection with the world of spirit to share the teachings of spiritual guides known to her as Anna. Hello, Katye. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Mark. Thank you for inviting us.
Well, it's so wonderful to be here with you and to be able to see you. And I've got so much that I want you to share with our audience, because I've gotten so much out of working with you. And we've got a lot of surprises, but I think we should just jump right in and kind of announce or talk about Anna. Who is Anna?
Anna is a group of souls known to me as a collective group of consciousness of me. There are 976 souls that I share a collective stream of energy with, of consciousness. And I've been working with Anna for probably consciously for about the last 18 years. I did not know them by the name of that there was 976 of them until 2013, when Anna fully came in.
And I think a lot of people might be familiar with Abraham Hicks, and people have asked me about Anna, and that's kind of how I've been able to explain it. You didn't even know who Abraham was when you first heard, after you'd already met Anna. And some people might know Seth or whatever, some other channels.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I express it. But you said this is no longer about channeling, that it's more of a steady stream of consciousness. Can you explain what that means?
Yes, Anna and I are connected. This group of souls I have traveled with, we work together. And instead of channeling, I think when you talk about Abraham and Esther Hicks and who was the other one, Seth?
Yeah.
And Jane Roberts, they did not know that this was a part of themselves. This was a part of their collective consciousness, and maybe, they'll evolve to that. At least Esther will, because this is who I am, and Anna is just a part of me, and I'm the physical person here on Earth. So you see Katye, but when you invite them in, my voice will change, but I know what's going on. I join them. And one of the things that I want to help people understand, when Anna first came in 2013, my eyes were always closed. I didn't remember what was said. And I went through a period of 6 months where literally my spine felt like it was being burnt. And I would get these, it would just be really heated and hot. And my students at the time, including my husband, was afraid I was going to die, because they weren't sure that I could handle, the physical body could handle all this energy. And so we talk about light body, and we talk about these body, being able to bring in more energy. But I really had to go through a rewiring of spirit, so I could be be with Anna in the way that is my true self. I told my students, I have arrived. When I joined Anna completely like that, I feel like I have arrived to who I was born to be.
Mm. And it's interesting too, you talk about the physical discomfort when Anna first came in, and some of the challenges. And it was more than just physical. There was emotional. There was fear. You were not sure you wanted to have her come through.
I used to say it wasn't about Anna not coming through. I used to say, no one's going to take over my body. I had seen a man 20-some years ago channel, and he channeled what he called the three teachers. And being a seer, I saw that the teachers came in, and he kind of left, and he didn't remember anything that was said. And so, there was some apprehension about letting Anna come in. But I'll tell you, when it happened, I woke up one morning, and I knew it was going to happen. I knew that they were going to, for the first time, speak through me. And it was a session with a friend of ours, Christine Closer. And I tried everything to get out of the session. And she came, and Anna came in and spoke to her. And from that point forth, I started integrating, that I would do this work and allow them to use my body. And then as I worked through it, I understood that I am one with this group of souls. I mean, we're all one. You and I are one. Everybody listening to us, we're all connected. And so this just happens to be a group of spiritual beings that are no longer in physical form.
And there's so many different things that come to mind here, and it's really fun just being able to have an open conversation where it's just going to go where spirit leads us. But there's a couple of things that came up. One was about the messages and the fact that you get these messages, and you say that we all get messages. I've done a lot of work to be more clear on it, because I was really jealous that some people seem more intuitive. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how everybody gets messages, and also wanted to understand a little bit more about you and where you're coming from. You said you've been working with Anna for 20 years, and you also talk about just that you embrace life as a spiritual, mystical journey. When did you become aware that you were on this mystical, magical journey of yours?
As a little girl, I was a seer. I could see angels. I could see, I remember them taking me to my grandfather's funeral and telling me he was dead. But I saw him standing over there in his light body. I didn't have the words for it then. About the age of 11, 12, I shut it down. I could still get messages and I could still see, but I shut it down. At the age of 38, I received what I call a soul boot. Anna calls it a soul realignment. Many people would call it a nervous breakdown. And from that point on, until I was 38, I had never heard the word reincarnation. I was a good Lutheran girl. I was going to become a deaconess in the Lutheran church. And that's why I had the soul boot, because my soul said, not this lifetime. You've been a nun in too many lifetimes. We have something different planned. And so from that point on, I started letting the angels come in. And from there, people who had birthed into spirit started talking to me again. And so it's been just this progression of doing my healing and allowing my soul to guide me. And so Anna was just a part of that. I'm a dreamer. So everything I teach, I dream it, I wake up, and I have it. And so I travel. And I used to be embarrassed that I was a traveler, because I didn't know anybody else who did this. 20 years ago, I didn't know anyone who went out and was taught by people who weren't in bodies. I didn't know these words. So as I've grown and evolved, now here we are with Anna, and I'm thrilled that you're introducing them to others.
Well, I'm really excited for Anna to come in at some point during our conversation and be able to speak with her directly. But one of the things that you talk about and you teach and you help me with is to understand our own message, because it's one thing to be able to have this connection with you where I can to speak to Anna, but to be able to develop our own ability to hear. How do you help people with that?
Well, 15 years ago, when I started doing intuitive readings, I didn't want to do intuitive readings. I wanted to teach people how to connect with their own voices, their own guidance. And so what I do is help people break through. Well, like we've talked about my new book out. You know, in that book, the reason for writing that is to make a consciousness shift that when people die, they're not dead, that we can still hear them. And one of the ways they communicate is thought transmissions. And so I teach people how to slow down the pace of their life, because we see everything as physical. And one of the things that Anna has taught me so well is that everything is vibrational. And when we're so busy focusing on physical consciousness, we miss the world of spirit. We don't catch the messages. And so we do have to use a new muscle. But I do believe that everyone gets messages, and I do believe that everyone has, well, we all have guides and we all have teachers. And so my work with my students is to empower them not to come to me or anybody else, but to go within and connect and use your dreams. We don't use our dream time right. Get Anna started on dreams. She'll teach you about dreams.
Well, yes, I am really excited to talk with Anna. And you had just mentioned your new book. I would love to learn a little bit more about your new book. And you've written 3 already before that, but this one, your co-author, was very, very special and in a very, very special situation. I'd love to have you share a little bit about that.
Okay, here's the new book, Soul Love Never Ends. And yes, it was co-written by my husband, Alan Sethius. Alan birthed into spirit on November 4th. Imagine sitting, watching TV, not meditating, just watching TV, holding my husband's hand. And I hear a voice, as clear as the voice I'm speaking to you, Katie, Alan's going to die and leave you. I heard it 3 more times. And to be honest, I went, what the blank, Alan's going to die. And I sat there and I looked at him to see if he heard the voice. And he was still watching TV, holding my hand. And so I just kind of pushed it to the confines of my mind. We went to bed about a half an hour later. And he kissed me, he tucked me in. And I woke up 3 hours later and he had had a stroke. Now, had I not heard that voice, I think I would have been going crazy. But hearing the voice telling me that this was going to happen, and it gave me as a need to know. I mean, he had the stroke probably about a half an hour after we went to bed, and then he went to sleep out in his chair. And so the book talks about what happened from the moment I heard the voice to the helicopter ride to Alan's part and what he experienced. And then one of the reasons, I mean, when you talk about difference in lives, I mean, Alan burst into spirit, and 3 hours later, I'm still at the hospital, you know, looking at his dead body, and he comes in saying through thought transmissions, Kay, we got to talk. It's really amazing over here, you know. And then through the next few days, he would come in and say, Kay, and I could see him in his light body when I got home and stuff, and he kept saying, Kay, we got to talk. It's amazing over here. And it was so important to him to know that I could hear him. And when he realized that my grief wasn't blocking him out, he was so happy. I didn't know how happy he was until we wrote the book, and he shared what it was like for him to know that I could still see him, I could still hear him, and that I wasn't pushing him out, because lots of times our grief will do that. So think about it. There I am looking at my husband's, quote, dead body, and he's over there joyriding, meeting people who have birthed into spirit and having, as he said, this expanded state of consciousness. He loves to say, I am nowhere and I am everywhere. And so our experiences were like night and day. So that's what the book's about. And it also talks about how you, the reader, can learn to pick up the thought transmissions and the signs. You know, lots of times people are just having a good old day, you know, after someone's birthed into spirit, a couple weeks or whatever into it, and all of a sudden they get sad. They get this feeling of sadness. That's when they're closest to you. That's a sign that your loved one is very close. And so if people could learn to understand that that feeling of sadness is because they're feeling them, not because they're missing them. You see the difference?
I do.
We get caught on, we're missing them, but they're here. I mean, you know, within God, there's no separation. We have been taught here on the earth planes of consciousness that there's separation. There is no separation. And if we can learn that and just start to make death not this scary experience, maybe life won't have to be so experienced. You know, because life is so scary for people. And so my work is all about helping people understand that your life didn't begin when you were born, and it will not end when you birth into spirit. So that's what that work's about.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and I so agree with. It was a big part of my understanding that we came in here with these bodies for a reason, and to make the most of this lifetime is what I'm focused on. I don't know what's going to happen after. Don't know what happened before, but in this time that we have here, we want to make the most of it. And there's a couple of key concepts that you talk about that I think are really important. One is the idea of soul agreements. And how we come here with these soul agreements, and then also the different planes of consciousness, because you'd mentioned it,
right?
That Alan is not, he's here and he's nowhere, that connected plane of consciousness. Let's start with the soul agreements. Tell us a little bit about what does that mean, and how does that play in our lives?
In my first book, I wrote that one with Anna. Okay, that was written with Anna. And so what I would do is I would go out in dream state. I would wake up about 3 in the morning and I would just write. And I was in like a semi-sleep state. And what that allowed me to do was bring into the written form what it's like over there in the astral planes. And so our souls will determine when it's time to create a new life here. And they feel this energy of, I want to go back to Earth for a reason. The souls always create a life to teach something and to learn something. And so the soul contracts are formed in what we call the Hall of Records. And oh my gosh, Mark, I wish people could see the Hall of Records. We try to describe them in the book, but you just can't describe things like this, because the Hall of Records, just imagine hundreds of thousands of souls and angelics hanging out in the same space. You know, it's no walls like we see walls here on Earth. It's just this amazing place where souls gather together and say, okay, so you want to go and you want to learn about acceptance. Well, you know, in a past life, you really rejected me. You know, it wasn't a real easy journey down there the last life. So let's do it again. And in this lifetime, we'll both learn about acceptance. And so these soul agreements are sacred and binding. And when I watched how these souls come together, in the book we talk about, in Conscious Construction of the Soul, we talk about Samuel and his agreement with his father. Now, Samuel's soul planned a life where he was going to be born a gay man. He was born to a fundamentalist preacher in the South. Now, Samuel wanted to learn about acceptance. Well, guess what? So we follow the story of Samuel and his father. However, at the end, well, I don't like to give the story away, but what Samuel and his father in the soul agreed, the souls looked at each other, and this is what we always said: may I seek to bring forth this life plan in love. Souls always want to do it in love. That's the core soul agreement. I will find you and I will meet you, and we will grow together on the earth planes in love. We will take this energy from the higher planes within God, and we will go and we will inhabit the denseness of the physical body, and we will do this in love. So that's the soul agreement. And the soul agreements, you know, are always, again, I remind you, in love. And sometimes some of the hardest lessons are from souls who love us the most.
When you say some of the hardest lessons, you're talking about some of the hardest human experiences that we encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this was a challenging thing for me when I was writing in my book about taking personal responsibility for our lives. And a lot of times when we talk about how we choose certain experiences, my mother, when I was talking to her about this and trying to explain that we made that choice, she didn't understand, well, why would you choose me as a mother? And if anybody else from the outside looks and just sees, oh my gosh, he just poured love into you, and it makes it very obvious for me. But somebody might look at somebody else and say, okay, well, why would you choose an abusive parent or a neglectful parent? How does that play into the soul agreement?
The soul doesn't choose a neglectful parent, an abusive parent. That's all personality stuff. That's the personality who has forgotten the soul agreement about love. And so the soul does not choose a parent and say, okay, you're going to beat me up, or you're going to abuse me, or you're going to forget about me, you're going to neglect. That's not the contract. That is never the contract between souls. And so, as we all know, we forget. We come down here and we're humanized so quickly. And if you ever want to talk to Anna about a good discourse, talk to her about soul parenting. She calls it soul parenting, not old parenting. You know, because many of us were raised by parents who knew nothing about soul. And if they knew anything about the soul was something to save through going to church. You know, and so the soul does not choose that. Remember, the agreement is, may we seek to do this in love. Now, the souls know. Anna always calls childhood the period of initiation. You know, because souls know that there is this time where you have made an agreement to give your life in the hands of your parents or whoever is going to raise you. And sometimes souls know this is a challenge. Now, one of the other things, and I don't think people talk about this a whole lot, when souls are creating a life, there's also this screen of life that they get to see. And so they can sit up there and go, okay, if we do A, B, and C, how's this going to turn out on Earth? So they get all these different scenarios, and they agree to do it anyway, because they really believe they can break through that energy and move into that place of love. You know, some of my hardest lessons in this life were people who taught me grace.
Yeah, and I think that, again, my understanding of what you're just sharing with me, that people aren't choosing that difficult situation. They're choosing the soul, and then how it comes to be is more on our personality side.
Yes.
That kind of comes back to me with the different planes of consciousness that you talk about. Do you want to share a little bit more about what you mean by the 7 planes of consciousness?
Sure. When do you want to bring Anna in? Do you want them to explain it?
That would be fantastic. I wasn't even sure what the process was for.
That's up to you.
Yeah, no. Tell us a little bit about how you go into.
You're getting all excited. You want to see your energy fill.
I am.
What I just do is I just, you know, they're here already. The difference is when I merge with them, my voice changes because there's so much energy. And again, I wish I could show people what it's like for me where I go. I join them. And for about the first year, I had to wear sunglasses, after I opened up my eyes, because it felt like my eyes were burning. My physical eyes were literally burning. And so as soon as I came back fully into my body, we would have sunglasses, because when I opened my eyes, it was like, literally, they felt like they were burning. Because where I go, where I shift my consciousness, you know, we talk about parallel living and shifting consciousness and traveling. You will see my body, but Anna will now be that group of souls, which includes me. It's 977 souls. So I'll just close my eyes and bring them in, and then you can talk to Anna. Okay?
Excellent.
Okay. All right, Mark. So you asked to speak to us, didn't you? Now, this is the first time we're doing this in this manner, so please help us along here.
Absolutely. First, Anna, just want to say thank you so much for coming into my life and bringing Katie into my life as well. I know that you had a lot to do with that.
Yes, well, you know, Katie can be somewhat contrary, and getting you two connected was not the easiest thing, but your souls wanted it to happen. And so Katie's personality has learned to listen, for the most part, to us. Yes.
Well, I certainly didn't make it any easier myself, and just things that came up. But the fact that you brought it and made it happen was absolutely fantastic. And I guess that was one of the questions. Was I was thinking, how did you first create this agreement with? Because we were just talking about soul agreements. When did you first come together with Katie? Was it in another lifetime? In that?
Oh, well, dear, yes, we've all traveled together, but this is going to confuse people, but Katie's soul actually created 72 different lifetimes, different personalities that were born in 1952, who would eventually step forth and do the work with us, because we are no longer going to be coming here on Earth in a physical form, but we love to teach. And so the personality known to you as Katie was able to navigate through her life and create experiences where she could begin to hear and receive and understand that she was born to do this work. It has been written. It was written. Just like you and Katie getting together, it was written.
And do you work specifically now with just Katie? Have you had these similar type of relationships with other people that were still in physical form?
Very interesting. No one's ever asked us this before, but yes, we work with others, not quite like we do with Katie, because they haven't elevated their status, but you get messages from us. Others, students of Katie's have said, well, Anna was talking to me in my dream. So yes, dear, we do. Now, would you like us, you know, we remember when we talked to Christine Closer, we said, now, you know, you have a group of Anna talking to you too. And she wasn't very thrilled with that. She doesn't want to, you know, allow this to happen. And so the personality has to agree that it's all right to share the physical form with such a group of consciousness. And we're just tickled that we're given this opportunity to talk. Because remember, we don't have voice boxes where we are.
And many of us are very hard of hearing. So it's really, really nice to be able to have someone that can communicate so clearly for her. And I, again, appreciate that relationship that you have. One of the really exciting things that I love talking to Katie and to you about is the seven planes of consciousness. Yes. I'd love to hear your perspective or your definition of the 7 planes.
Well, as many of you know, as you know, Mark, there was a shift that occurred. Well, we always get dates wrong, but in 2012, there was a great shift. And that allowed the consciousness of hundreds of thousands of beings that are in the physical incarnations to begin to really move between these planes of consciousness. And so we began teaching about the 7 planes, which is, we're not even going to worry about the first, because many of you don't even land there anymore. But the second plane of consciousness, we talked to you quite a bit about this, Katie, and you have talked about this, how if you want to experience second plane consciousness, go into Washington, D.C., because the government is run on second plane consciousness, which is boxed in thinking, which is dogmas, fear, making people bend over to whatever they want, and if not, you're excommunicated. So the second plane of consciousness is very much experienced right now on the earth planes throughout the whole globe. You can see where fear is running rampant. If there's fear, you're on the second earth plane of consciousness. if you are trying to intimidate someone, even through love. How many times we don't have all day, but get us talking about the church. Now, we know that religions are very good for people. They open people up to love. But many times religions are used to suppress and to keep people imprisoned. And so we teach the 3 spiritual keys along with the 7 planes of consciousness. And the 3 spiritual keys are not new, but they are converged with others in love. So if you can't do it in love, don't do it. Just don't do it. It's that simple. Now, you tell someone that in the 2nd plane consciousness, and they'll go, well, this can't be done in love. This must be done in violence. This can't be done in love. This must be done by show of force. Correct? That's what happens. And so if you can't do it in love, the spiritual key is very simple. Don't do it. The 2nd spiritual key is mind mastery, taking responsibility for your emotions. One of the reasons that souls love to go on earth is you have a range of emotions, and emotions are beautiful and wonderful. Even anger can be used in a positive way. And so the last spiritual key is understanding that for me to succeed, you must succeed. We cannot succeed without each other. It's impossible. And until your leaders in whatever government understand that, you will always have people on the 2nd plane going to the bridge of nowhere, doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So that's the 2nd earth planes of consciousness. Do you have questions about that, dear?
Yes, I have so many questions about that, but let's finish. Oh, I can come back to them.
All right. So the 3rd earth planes of consciousness, this is where a lot of you who are hearing our words tend to really begin to reside. The 3rd earth plane of consciousness is where you begin to say, wait a minute, maybe there's a better way of doing this. You begin to question the beliefs of the tribe. You begin to question the beliefs of your government. You know, just moving along a sheep being led unconsciously serves no one. But on the 3rd plane of, and that's 2nd plane consciousness, they get up and they do the same life over and over and over again. Many years ago, Katie watched a movie, oh, what was it?
Groundhog's Day?
Thank you, dear. She hated it. She hated it because she realized it was her life. Because she was getting up, doing the same thing over and over again. And this is what people on the 2nd earth plane do. On the 3rd earth plane, they begin to say, they begin to question, and they begin to expand their consciousness outside of the tribe. And so the 4th and 5th planes are really, we're not even going to get into the higher planes, but the 4th and 5th planes, you cannot be in fear and build your life on these planes. As soon as you're in any kind of fear, you're brought back down in consciousness. We're talking about shifting consciousness. You know, one of the very things that people don't understand is about consciousness. They think that consciousness is something that's contained. How can consciousness be contained? This is why you can shift your consciousness from the 2nd earth plane, the 4th earth plane, or even to a higher plane within God. Do you understand what we're saying? Shifting of consciousness does not have to be a difficult thing. And so you begin to learn how to, where am I creating my experiences? And one of the key factors is, if you have a personality, an experience, a relationship that is bringing you down to 2nd plane consciousness, you must take responsibility for that yourself. It's not about them, it's about you. And you must understand why you allow others to take you away from love. Why you allow others to take you away from love. You and I have had conversations, have we not, about the current president?
Yes.
Now, We're not going to say shame on you, but we'd like to say shame on all of you who voted for this man. He was a fourth and a fifth plane consciousness man when he was running for the office. And all of you down there were excited because finally someone was going to make a difference. Someone was going to rush into Washington, D.C. and change Washington, D.C. And very quickly, how many of you moved away from this man when he could not himself hold that vibration of love? You could not expect one man to hold the vibration for change. Do you remember what we said? That if you are to succeed, I must succeed. So in order for any president, anyone to succeed, they must be surrounded by others who believe in that dream. And for those of you who said you believed in his dream and then abandoned him because he could not hold that vibration, you're correct. He is now governing in the second and third earth planes. He will do far greater things out of office than he ever did in office, because again, he will be able to move away from the energy of Washington, D.C. and all the disappointment of those who have sent that upon him, and he will regroup, and he will once again begin to hear the voice of spirit, and he will be guided again.
Thank you. You have just brought me, I think, right into the place where I feel like I can benefit the most, and therefore probably many of our viewers will be able to benefit. Because you talked about that third plane being kind of where you're separating out from the tribe. Mm-hmm. And it was 4 years ago that I watched Wayne Dyer's movie Wishes Fulfilled, I believe, where he was talking about our society reaching this critical mass of enlightenment, of people starting to wake up, and that once we reach that critical mass, then it would happen very quickly. We'd have this quantum leap in humankind, and I felt like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to accelerate this awakening in human consciousness, but I often wonder how we can do it when there's so much resistance ahead of us, when we're really such a small percentage, when there's so much surrounding us of
Mark, you're forgetting. Yes, you're a small percentage in the physical body, but you have legions of light beings behind your work. And so the shift of 2012, your friend Wayne Dyer, by the way, he's having a fabulous time over here, but we won't get lost in that. Where are we? Now we missed what we were going to say.
The legions of light.
The legions of light. And so as the legions of light work with you, the shift happened 2012, and the next 26 to 28 years on Earth are the times that Wayne Dyer spoke about. And so these are the times he left because he knew he could be more effective as a being of light than in the physical form. This is why Alan Sethius left, because he is also someone who has ascended. We don't want to confuse everyone. There's a difference from ascending and from a soul who is not ascended. That's a whole other, topic. But yes, so when you say, how do we do this? You connect every day with the world of spirit, and you know that love, again, is the guiding force. It's not some airy-fairy belief, but every day you have to wake up and you join with your brothers and sisters consciously around the globe who have the same vibrational signature. And together with the legions of light beings who are working from other planes of consciousness, Earth can shift into what you're talking about, dear. And it's people like you and people like Katie who stand up and say, all right, show me what I'm supposed to do. Show me my part. What's my part in the vision and the dream to return Earth to a place of love? And when you can figure that out, and then you get up every day and you focus on that. Mark, you cannot focus on the negative of all this, the naysayers and those who are saying this cannot happen. Because if you focus on that, you become a part of that. You don't jump in the fire, do you?
Not at all.
What happens when you jump in a fire?
You get burned.
So why would you jump into the fear and the naysayers? Why would you give them any attention?
And I completely agree. I think that's one of the challenges that I've had is that I don't, not only do I not jump in the fire, I've often not even looked at the fire. I know the fire is there, but I don't want to look at the fire. I don't want to be reminded about it.
Now, we want to remind you a lot in the, what do we say here? The spiritual community say, I don't want to know about it. That's kind of sticking your head in the sand and pretending it's not happening. There's a difference from knowing it and not giving any energy to it. There's a difference from knowing that the vibrational signature on the earth planes of consciousness right now is predominantly people who are living in the second. But there's hope here because before, people used to live in the first plane. So even human consciousness is shifting to where they're now second plane. Do you understand?
I do. And how do we then, as individuals, myself, our viewers, how do we hold our own level of consciousness? How do we continue to keep it up and not drop out and drop back into second fear?
Well, again, you wake up every day and you ground that you are an incarnated soul. You invite your guides in, you invite your soul in, and then throughout your day, it's very important because personalities don't do this. Instead of taking smoke break and coffee breaks, take breath breaks. Every 3 or 4 hours, find a space and just take some deep breaths and connect and remind yourself that you are an incarnated soul. And then what you can do from that point is stay conscious. Remember, personalities are only conscious about 5 to 10% of the day. Other than that, you're on autopilot. So it's about consciously, again, mind mastery, consciously being aware of, I am the creative force in my life, and not those other people. I am the creative force in my life. And so today is a new day that I get to create. What is it that I want to focus on? The trick is to stay aware of that 4 hours into your day. Because many of you, and we were like this when we were on the earth, many of you create your lives doing things you don't love doing. So you go to jobs and you create these lives that you don't love. So that's one of the things you can do. Create a life where you enjoy getting up in the morning, where you're happy to be a part of this human experience.
I can so relate to that because, again, I feel like my mission is to work with messengers, and being able to wake up every day and create something and be part of that is a big part of my life, and a lot of the people that are watching here today. So your guidance is very helpful.
Well, someone just said, so why aren't you doing that every day? Why don't you have a show where your Mark is talking every day?
I love that. Not just once a week, but every single day.
Doesn't the world need more of Mark?
It does.
We believe so.
Well, I feel like you have given me a lot of faith. You've had a lot of faith in me and really helped me to step more into my power. So when you first say that, my mind, my personality starts to think about, well, why not? I'll answer your question. Let me think about it. Here's all the reasons why not. It's more work. It's more time. I'd rather do what I can do.
Those are old outdated beliefs. Those thought forms are coming from beliefs that you were indoctrinated before the age of 6, the why nots. And so what you want to do is, yes, I'm ready to stand up. I am ready for this. I am ready to inspire others to stand up. And then you keep that focus. And then you remember, we talked to you, this is very important. And then you invite others who are a part of your dream, not using your dream. And we would say that to everyone who hears the words, when you know what your dream is, it's very important to merge with others who are part of that dream, because then that dream, when you said about how do we shift consciousness, We shift consciousness by banding together, by allowing our soul brothers and sisters, such as ourselves, to be a part of your world.
That's very, very exciting to me. To me, that's one of the great joys that I get. You talk about doing work that you love, and what I love is connecting with people. And when I connect with people, it's on a soul level, and building community has been very, very exciting for me. That's the whole purpose of the Inspired Messengers Network, is to have that community and that connection. So I really feel what you're talking about with surrounding yourself. And I'm also aware of the challenge that I've had with differentiating between the people that are here to benefit from my vision versus the people who are here to be part of it and to support it. It's sometimes being a people pleaser and wanting everyone to be happy and wanting everybody to be a part of it makes that a challenge.
Well, yes, you and Katie both have the divine child, and this has not always been positive, because you both see the love that people are. You see what they are. However, how do we word this? You see how they truly are, but you do not see what the personality is. And sometimes that has got to Katie into the fire. And probably yourself too.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's funny because I used to think that I would laugh at the fact that that was one of my big, I don't know about flaws or one of the big challenges.
Oh, no, dear. Having a divine child is not a flaw. Having a divine child simply says that you see the world, you see the goodness in everything. You know, these children that are being born and labeled autistic. There's no such thing as autism. They're higher centering children. They're grounding a new vibration. They're here to help ground a certain vibration, and they're using the physical form, the only physical form that is currently here when you travel. And so, again, even those who you have labeled so cruelly, not you, but you know, the medical community, they don't understand that, again, these beings, such as ourselves, when we come through the physical form, we sometimes, the body sometimes does not adjust to that. Sometimes you'll see Katie's body, she's doing it right now, yes. You'll see her rocking because the energy, the heat in her physical form just gets, right now she's starting to get on fire. She has 2 fans on her, believe it or not, and it's still not enough. And so we don't remember the point we're trying to make, but go ahead, dear.
Well, no, just you're talking about seeing the good in all people, and that for me, I thought it was a great strength, and I still believe that it is a great strength, and it can be balanced with also being able to see the human in people and understand that they are human, and that as such, we're not here to support everyone. We have our soul agreements, and when we can kind of recognize that.
We would disagree with that. You're not here to support everyone, but you're here to love everyone.
And I see that, and I feel that that part of recognizing the divinity within everyone is part of my expression of love for them, and it's part of what helps me to love everyone. And in doing that, I often, as you had mentioned, end up in the fire because I am wanting so badly to help everyone because I love them. Therefore, I want to help them.
Well, this is a very good point, dear. Something that we've worked with Katie for years before she got it. On the earth planes of consciousness, you must learn to allow others to have the experiences they need to have. In other words, energy once, you know, once a personality, whether it's in 1812 or 1900, once that vibrational signature is imprinted on the earth, everyone on the earth will continue to experience that energy. That's why we say take responsibility for your energy. Take responsibility for what you're creating. because everyone does feel the ripple effect. And so here you are on earth and you think, well, I'm just an individual. You're not. You're all connected positively and yes, negatively. We don't really like the word negatively, but we don't have other words that you understand. And so whether you're living your consciousness on the fourth and fifth planes or not, you're still connected to those on the second plane, but you must allow them to have those experiences. You cannot change their consciousness by, again, jumping into the fire with them or losing your center. When you stay centered, no matter what's happening, then you can hear and receive the guidance. And when the personality and the soul merge, and you allow your soul to guide you, miracles happen.
You just answered the question that I was moving into, which was how do we manage our relationships with people that might be in second level of consciousness, and if they're fear-based, and still be able to express love and support them. So I think you already answered that question about how we coexist.
Good.
It's been such a pleasure to be able to connect with you here on video and to have this as part of my experience. I feel like this is just the very beginning for you of being able to be on a video platform and to be able to share more of your messages. Is there a final thought or something that you really think is important to leave us with before we say goodbye to Katie?
Yes. Many of you who have traveled spiritually, some of you say, where's the new meat? Where's the new information? Spiritual teachers for eons have been teaching love. They do it in many different ways, but the message is always the same, love. And so this is one of the reasons that many of the teachers continue to give the same message, like the spiritual keys that we teach. They're not new, but we will continue to teach them until the personalities begin to understand the truth of this. And so when you say about those on the second plane of consciousness, we tell you, again, we don't tell people to pray, because prayer is said according to your religion. What we do is we teach a very simple technique, and it's simply to see the person, the tribe, the government, the country, the universe, see it in this egg of love. And so we would tell you, if you have an experience that is causing you difficulty and causing you to move out of love, simply put the experience in this white egg of love and then write the word love on it and do nothing else with it. Don't try to manipulate the energy, because that's what personalities try to do. They try to manipulate love. Do you not? Mm-hmm. And so we say, just write the word love on it and allow the universe, allow the creator, the source, to be that healing force that it is.
That's so beautiful. And when you say manipulating love, because you had mentioned this earlier, the image that I get of that is not manipulating for self-gratification or anything else. It's saying, here's what I interpret the highest possible belief of what love is to look like. And therefore, I want the result to look like that. You're saying, put the love out there and allow their own divine guidance to lead them. Yes, because we're all connected. You and I are one. You and Katie are one. We are all one. And so we will never tell you we know what's best for you. No teacher should tell you they know what's best for you. We will help you learn to follow that guidance for yourself. And we will tell you when we think you've gone down the bridge to nowhere, and your soul will tell you, like with Katie, with having the soul realignment. When a soul realignment is a stop sign. Stop, reevaluate your life. This can come in the terms of a disaster,
a disease, an experience like Katie had, it comes in many forms. But when you feel your life takes such a dramatic shift and you feel that it's a negative thing, stop and evaluate your life and question, have I gone so far off from the path of my soul that it is simply saying, stop and tune in. Remember why you're here.
That is so important.
You're getting very airy right now, Mark. You're starting to leave.
I feel it. It's so funny that you get to remind me to stay grounded, and I appreciate you for lifting me up and really just the guidance that you share through Katie and directly with me.
We want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you in this manner. We seek to create teachings that will help not only you, but the entire inhabitants of Earth to return to their true state, which is love. So we thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you, Anna.
All right, we'll have Katie come back now. Wow, that was a trip. My God, I can't tell you. I wish I could tell you what I see. You know, remember, they see us they don't see us as physical. They don't experience as physical beings. They experience it like vibrationally. And as we, you know, we're talking, and I say we as in Anna, and it's just so amazing to know that those words will reach other people. So thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You're so very welcome, and thank you so much.
And did I hear Anna say you're going to have some kind of show every day? They're good at that. They're so good at that.
Well, it's really funny because I've been trying to figure out, I have so many teachers that are coming to me and I'm wanting to find a way to be able to get more out there that
it's time to step up.
And it is outside of my comfort zone, and I'm going to completely embrace it and say, yes, how do I get it done?
Remember earlier I told you you were my Oprah.
Well, yes, I have chills right now, feeling like just really getting ready to step into my game even more. And I'm really grateful for your ongoing support. One of the things that came up with Anna was she's talking about the 3 keys, and the first one being love, the second one being mind mastery. You have a whole course on mind mastery.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that and how that works.
The Mind Mastery is a 5-week course. We get together on the telephone, and it's a class at 10 o'clock in the morning, and at 8 o'clock at night. Everything's recorded. You get a reading with Anna as a part of the class, and then we work on catching and releasing old outdated beliefs. Remember, everything was programmed between birth and about 6 years old. That's when all our messages were programmed, our core messages, and we create a vibrational signature of the tribe. And so many people are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, living a life guided by old outdated beliefs. So we teach you how to catch and release. And it's very simple, and it's just, and every week, every class, Anna gives a discourse. So it's 10 opportunities to talk to Anna or to ask questions. It's, you know, people love it. That's all. Any other questions about it?
No, I guess another comment about it. As being in the group myself, it's been really wonderful to how I hear what's coming up for other people is often exactly what I need to hear as well. Yeah. So yeah, having that opportunity to listen to everyone else and to engage directly with you and with Anna on a weekly basis, twice each week.
And one of the things Anna loves, simply loves, to have questions asked, you know. And for some reason, Alan used to say people get struck dumb when they're around Anna. We always tell people, write your questions down. You did great.
Well, it's funny because as questions were coming up, I was feeling like I was getting the answers before I could ask them. It was very strange.
So you were, yeah. Well, and again, we're connected. You know, our souls connected us. Our souls wanted this to happen. And I know that by embracing Anna, I've stepped into who I was born to be. And I think we're right here watching you, Mark, begin to really be who you were born to be. And you are a connector and a communicator. And you are someone that is just such purity of heart. And I've heard that from so many different people. So I can't wait to be a part of this journey as we continue to grow and evolve together.
Absolutely. Me too. And like you said, life is a journey, and I feel like I've been conscious of it for years, but I'm still at the very, very beginning of the journey.
Oh, no, my dear, you're not at the beginning of the journey, not by far. Because, again, you have to remember, you were chosen for this. Your soul chose this for you. And you're stepping up, and you're doing it. And so you're not at the beginning of the journey, nor are you at the end of it. But you are definitely not at the beginning.
Well, tell us, for anybody who might be interested in the Mind Mastery course, how can we get in touch with you? What's your website?
My website is katyeanna.com. I know we have do you have the address for just the Mind Mastery? But katyeanna.com is where you can reach anything. And
Katye Anna, just so that
Soul
people...
Love Never Ends. You can get that on Amazon.
I was going to ask you.
It's now on special.
It does, and you said there's a couple of special things. Oh, actually, that the book.
With the Mind Mastery, you get the book, and you get a reading with Anna, which, how do you value a reading with Anna? But it's a $250 value. And the Mind Mastery is on special right now for $199. So in the Mind Mastery class, you get about 14, 15 MP3 downloads. You get meditations, you get the morning meditation, you get an evening meditation, and then you get all the classes. So, that's our we also teach a Life Mastery, which is a year program. But the Mind Mastery is good for anyone who doesn't really know how we work. Because I don't believe Anna's for everybody. They can really, they don't mess around.
That's right. Yeah, don't ask any questions that you're not ready to hear. For sure. And the address that you're asking about, it's on your website, it's katyeanna.com/mind mastery. But I want to point out that Katye Anna is Katie, Katyeanna.
Yep.
And do you want to share that real quick story with why is your name spelled with such a unique spelling?
My dad, when I was born, said I was born to be different. So they spelled it Katye instead of Katie. Now, growing up, he didn't really like that I was different because I had a rebel. And then when I was in my 40s, my mom heard him talking to some fishing buddies. And he said, my daughter, Katie? Yeah. She talks to angels. And the old man said, really, Dave? He said, but what's even more amazing? Angels talk to her. I always knew she was different. And so he really valued that I was different. And then the Anna comes from, as I said, my husband's wedding band said, Love Anna. And hit mine from him said, Love Sethius, because we knew those as our spiritual names. And so Anna, Katye Anna comes from that, because I've always known that Anna was a part of my higher self.
Well, I'm so glad that you've been able to completely integrate, and I feel that the process is still growing.
It is.
And you and our journey, like you just said, it's been there for years. Our souls have been traveling together, so it's just a really beautiful reunion to be back with you. And I look forward to more of my community communicating with you again. $199 for a program where for 5 weeks you get twice a week where we can engage with you and ask questions directly with you and Anna, and the whole community is just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you for
my
all that
students always teach me. And Anna loves it because they ask questions.
And that's the thing is I want to remind everybody that's here listening and watching that we're all messengers. You know, we all have a story, and you have a very important story. So making sure that you're getting the support that you need to help share your message and to share your gifts with the world is absolutely critical to feel fulfilled in your life. This is something that your soul is desiring, and it doesn't matter what you're doing to block that, whether it's becoming a workaholic or trying to earn more money or addiction. But nothing can block that soul's desire or fulfill it, like actually pursuing and stepping into your purpose, no matter how uncomfortable it might be. So I want to say goodbye and thank you so much for all the extra time and for being able to connect us with Anna. Is there any last words that you would like to share? Anna got to share some of hers. Is there anything that you would like to share before we say goodbye? And I think that you may have already. I think that the technology may have decided for you that this is not a goodbye, but just a for now. So I will wrap up on my end. Let me make sure I've got everything covered in my notes. Okay. So yeah, just let me say that I really believe, again, that your story and your personal experiences have a very, very powerful lesson that can help other people. So if you feel like you are a messenger and you want to be able to share more, you can learn more about the Inspired Messengers Network at inspiredmessengersnetwork.com. We encourage you to sign up as a free member, and you can always reach out to me directly at the team at inspiredmessengersnetwork.com. Most of all, I just want you to remember that you are a brilliant light in the world, and keep shining brightly. Namaste.